this is the right word, the WWE Alumni roster. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, starting off with the first wrestler, we have a kid who is actually Axiom. So, he technically should not be on this list, but he is, so, yeah. Then we have Adam Bomb, who I don't really know too much about. I know he was in WCW, and that's pretty much all I know. He has a cool name, though. And then we have Adam Cole, a real shame. I loved Adam Cole in NXT. Now, I don't really care for him in AEW, but back in the day, my gosh, Adam Cole was the man in NXT. I loved the Undisputed Era. Was Adam Cole a two-time NXT champion? Or one time? I can't remember, but yeah, man, Adam Cole ruled NXT, and I thought he was going to be the future of the promotion, but it just didn't turn out that way. And I don't really blame Adam Cole for leaving because I believe Vince wanted to turn Adam Cole into a manager. I forgot for who. It wasn't for Keith Lee. It was for somebody, but yeah, so I don't really blame him for that. And then we move on to Adam Rose. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. I like the gimmick at first, but it really overstayed his welcome. And then he turned heel, then joined up with 3MB. So yeah, and he really wasn't the best wrestler. I never found him entertaining in the ring, only outside of it. I have Ada English, who was a way better wrestler than a commentator. Well, I shouldn't say way better, his wrestling is just average, but yeah, I can't stand him on a commentary. I believe he still commentates for TNA, and his voice just irritates me. I have AJ Lee, CM Punk's wifey, and I miss AJ Lee. Do I think she'll ever come back? Maybe. Then we have Akam, part of the Authors of Pain, who I always liked. I know a lot of people didn't like the Authors of Pain, but I did. I never had a problem with them. I thought they were okay in the ring. I thought they were entertaining-ish. Then we have Akeem. Go from Akam to Akeem. I don't know too much about Akeem at all, really. Oksana, she sucked. Alberto Del Rio. Let's move on. Aaliyah James, I have no clue who this is. I'm guessing she was from NXT. I don't know. Alex Riley, there was potential for him, and they were pushing him for a moment, but then it just stopped. And I remember when he went down to NXT for a bit, which was very strange. He didn't really do that good there either, so I think that's when they gave him the axe, so yeah. Alexander Wolf, I liked Alexander Wolf. He was in Insanity initially. Then I don't really know what happened. Oh, was he in Gallus in NXT UK? I forget, but yeah. I don't know where he is now. I don't know, but yeah. I liked Alexander Wolf. Alicia Fox. She's in TNA right now, I believe. I've never really been the biggest fan of Alicia Fox. I always thought she was very mid in the ring, but I do still remember when WWE tried to turn her into like this female Stone Cold character, which I did enjoy, and that was great. But it didn't really last that long, but that was entertaining. So yeah. Aaliyah, I thought she was underrated, and she was alright in the ring. Well, she was okay, but yeah, I remember people just like hating on her, saying that she sucks. She really didn't. She was. There are way worse female wrestlers in this company at that time. So yeah, I didn't mind Aaliyah. Amal, I don't know who this is. Amari Miller, I don't know. Amir Jordan, was he in 205 Live? I don't know. Aria Sterling, who are these people? Aria Davari, there we go. Now I know this person. It was from 205 Live, and yeah, he didn't really do much. And on top of that, he didn't really do too much to impress me in his whole like rich gimmick. So, yeah, his brother is way better. Armando Estrada. I love Armando Estrada. I grew up watching the guy when he was the manager of Umaga, so yeah, always liked him. Arturo Ruas. I remember seeing this guy, but I have no clue what he did or what promotion he was on. I'm guessing NXT. Asher Hill, no clue. Ashton Smith, no clue. Austin Aries is a real shame. It really is. I liked Austin Aries, but it just didn't work out for him in WWE. I had high hopes because I was very excited when he first joined NXT, and then when he got moved up to the main roster, I was like, oh, finally, here we go. But they first had him on commentary, which if I remember correctly, he was injured. So they have him on commentary, and then they had him feud with Neville for the title, and then he lost. And, yeah, he left it shortly thereafter. So, yeah, it's a real shame. Austin Aries is a great wrestler, but as a person, he's a dick. Bad News Brown, I've heard the name, but I don't really know too much about him. Bam Bam Bigelow, I really need to watch some Bam Bam Bigelow matches. I've never seen any of his matches. So yeah, Baron Corbin. It really does suck that he was released. When was it? Was it this year? Earlier this year? I can't keep up with these releases, dude. I feel like they've happened all the time. But I really enjoyed his work in NXT, or his last NXT run. It was really good. And his team with Braun Breaker was awesome. They were a great team. So yeah, I really thought he was getting his career back on track, but they just gave him the can. So it's a shame. Batista, one of my childhood favorites. I will always like Batista. I can't hate on the man. His last two WWE runs were awful. I will say that. They were not good. I didn't like either of them. So, yeah. But I love Batista. Big Cass. I feel bad for Big Cass. I do get why he was released, because he was going through a lot of issues. And, I think that was more so after he got released, but you guys get what I mean. But man, he was over with Enzo Amore. They were such a great team, who I still can't believe never won the NXT Tag Team titles, or any main roster titles for that matter. So yeah, I always like Big Cass. I feel sorry for him, but he's doing good things in AEW, and he seems to be doing better at life itself. So I'm happy for him. Big Daddy V. Speaking of from my childhood, I definitely remember Big Daddy V. And he was certainly there, and you could not miss him for obvious reasons. But well, as you guys probably also know him as Viscera or Mabel. So yeah, not the best wrestler, but I found him entertaining, especially as a Viscera. I like the gimmick. And Big Daddy V, I just remember the V taunt hand gesture he used to do. I thought that was cool. So then we got the Big Show. I've always liked the Big Show. Definitely not the best wrestler, but he was always entertaining, and he is from my childhood. And gosh, he's been wrestling since forever, with the mid-90s in WCW. So yeah, Big Show's great. I like the Big Show. Bill DeMott, a piece of shit. I've heard all the stories about how he treated the trainees at the Performance Center and people like that. I have no respect for it whatsoever. So yeah, fuck Bill DeMott. Billy Kay, not the best wrestler, but very entertaining outside the ring. Very entertaining. Billy Gunn. I like Billy Gunn. I can't believe he's still wrestling today in AEW, and he is in tremendous shape. So yeah, I like Billy Gunn. By the way, speaking of Billy Gunn, I never knew he was part of Bullet Club in New Japan. That blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah. Actually, let me make sure I'm getting that right. I'm pretty sure he was part of Bullet Club. Yes, he was. Wait. Okay, I might be wrong. He was part of Bullet Club Gold with Austin Golden Gun and Jay White. Okay. I could have sworn he had some affiliation with Bullet Club in New Japan. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but yeah. I'll leave Billy Gunn. And then we got Billy Kidman, who I also liked. And also shout out to his theme song, which I never really thought to fit him, but it was still cool, a good theme. So yeah, and great venture to the Shooting Star Press, right? Yeah. Blair Davenport. To be honest, I really haven't seen any matches of hers. I know who she is, but I've never seen any of her matches, so I can't really comment on her. The Blue Meanie. I never watched any BWO stuff. I really only I know who he is, but I mainly just remember him like at One Night Stand and when JBL got him busted open, shoot style, and then Blue Meanie got his revenge with Stevie Richards. So yeah, Boa. I thought it was cool of how they were pushing Boa, and I forgot who else was there. There was someone else with them as like this. How do I describe it? Like Japanese, Oni type. So I don't know. It was a cool gimmick though that they were trying to do, but it just didn't work out. So yeah, Bobby Fish. I like Bobby Fish. Where is he now? I'm trying to think where he is. Where is Bobby Fish? I remember he was doing stuff with TNA, but that was like 2 years ago, I believe. I don't know where he is. But yeah, I like Bobby Fish. Always have. He wasn't my favorite in the ring, but his team with Kyle was great. Red Dragon, and also with Undisputed Era, of course. So yeah. And Bobby Lashley. I've always liked Bobby Lashley. Always have. Always will. And a lot of people. I've seen some people say that Triple H didn't use Bobby Lashley right, but I thought he did. Bobby Lashley won titles. Well, actually, it was more so before Triple H took over, where Bobby Lashley really got pushed. So, yeah, I guess I should be thinking of Vince, but fuck Vince McMahon. Anyways, yeah, Bobby Lashley is great. Bodie Hayward. He looks familiar, but I have no clue who he is. The Boogeyman. I love the Boogeyman from my childhood. I do wish he would appear more on TV. He's still signed to a contract all these years later, but I'm guessing it's only like a Legends deal, so he just appears in video games and whatnot. So yeah. Oh my gosh, Brad Maddox. Jeez. Yeah, Brad Maddox. Brad Maddox. Braun Strowman. I've always liked Braun Strowman. His initial push in, when was it, 2017? Like during his feud with Roman Reigns. I thought that was great. They had a great feud and great matches. But yeah, and I was very surprised when they let him go. I thought he'd be there for a bit longer, but now they just released him. So yeah, very shocking. I like Braun. And we have Bray Wyatt. Still very, very sad, very disheartening to see him leave us so soon and so young. Actually, how old was Bray? I forget. Let me see. I believe he was in his late 30s, right? Wow, he was 36. Very, very sad. Yeah, I miss Bray. He was definitely a one-of-a-kind talent, for sure. Yeah, I miss you, Bray. Brian Pillman. To be honest, I really haven't seen much of Brian Pillman, like at all. So yeah, I really can't comment on him. Of course, I've seen the segment with him and Stone Cold where he pulled out a gun on Stone Cold, which is insane to me. Brie Bella sucks, absolutely terrible. I still remember when she knocked out, who was it? Was it Liv Morgan? I can't remember who it was, but yeah. Gosh, Brie was terrible. And her theme song, oh my gosh. Kill me. Brutus Clay sucks. He was so bad. Yeah, not a good wrestler. When he was doing the whole like what was his nickname? The Funkasaurus, that whole stuff. It was funny at first, but it got old really quickly. So yeah. Butch Reed, I've heard the name, but I don't know too much about him. Cameron. Cameron will forever be known for what she said to Stone Cold when he asked her what her favorite match was, and she said Melina versus Alicia Fox. Yeah. Cameron Grimes. I feel really bad for Cameron Grimes. I thought he was doing good things in NXT, and then when he got called up, they didn't really do anything at all with him. And I remember, I believe he released like a video after his release, and he was just crying. So yeah, where is Cameron Grimes? I don't know, but yeah, I do wish him the best. Candice Michelle, not really great in the ring, but you know, she was from my childhood. I remember her. I mean, how could you not? I mean, at a young age, but yeah, I didn't mind Candice Michelle. She was there for the era, so yeah. Carmella, I didn't think she was that bad. I know a lot of people said that she sucked, but she wasn't that bad. I've seen worse. And to be honest, I actually enjoyed when she was with James Ellsworth. I know a lot of people didn't care for anything that he did, but yeah, I found that pairing to be entertaining. So yeah. Cedric Alexander, man, I still remember when Cedric, I believe he got eliminated from when he got eliminated from the Cruiserweight Classic, that Triple H came out because the fans were chanting, please sign Cedric, and Triple H gave the thumbs up, and I was like, oh wow, Cedric is in line for like a big push in this company, he's going to do great things. Not really. I believe he won the Cruiserweight title. Was it one time, and that was about it. So yeah, it's a real shame. Cedric was great, very, very talented. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet. I think he's still deciding, but yeah. Cesaro, oh, what could have been? He was definitely world champion material, but fucking Vince never saw him as a champion or world champion, so yeah, it's a shame. He was definitely over. My gosh, was he over the Cesaro section with the little signs in the crowd? I remember that. Charlie Caruso, she was alright. She was like the interviewer backstage person. Cherry, she was with Deuce and Domino, which is a great team, by the way, underrated. I remember them on SmackDown in 2007, I believe, yeah. So yeah, I like Cherry. And Chris Jericho, back when his career was still likable in a sense. Yeah. It's funny, his picture was when he was doing a like list of Jericho thing, which was so great. But yeah, Chris Jericho, it's a shame of how his career turned out. I'm talking as if like he like retired or something, but gosh, he is so bad now. Like pretty much everything after like his first 2 to 3 years with AEW, it just went downhill from there. He was great there at first, but now it's like, get the fuck off my TV screen. But if we're talking about just WWE Chris Jericho, I loved Chris Jericho. He was great. So many classic matches, moments, promos. I love his theme song. Yeah, Chris Jericho, he had it all. Do I think he'll ever return to WWE someday? I think so, because everybody always comes back, so yeah. Chris Masters, I always like Chris Masters, the masterpiece. I remember as a kid watching the Master Lock challenges on Raw. Those were always entertaining, and Bobby Lashley was the one who first broke the Master Lock. So yeah, good times. Christian, Christian is great. But I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I much prefer his run in TNA over his WWE run. Actually, let me rephrase that. I prefer his TNA run over his post 2005 WWE run, like from, was it 09 to 2014, I want to say. So yeah, I thought it was a big mistake when Christian re-signed with WWE. He was doing so many great things in TNA, but yeah. But yeah, pre-TNA, Christian was great. I loved everything, and his theme song was fantastic. Next up, Christy Hemme. I never really cared too much for Christy Hemme. She really wasn't that great in the ring. She was cute, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I just never really got her. China, it's a real shame what happened to China. And I thought she was great during that Attitude Era. What was that one match? I'm trying to think if there was one match. Was it with the Chris? Yeah, it was against Chris Jericho. I forgot what show it was, but it was really good. It was one of their matches because I think they had a couple. But yeah, I thought China was a solid in-ring worker. A lot of people didn't think so, but I thought she was alright. So yeah, and Cora Jade, a huge shocker for me that she got released. I thought she was in line for great things in this company and was going to get a club soon, but nope, never happened. So yeah, I believe she's now going by the name of, is it Elena Black? Something like that. But yeah, I wish her the best. I thought she was good. Crash Holly. I really don't know too much about Crash. I've seen his stuff when he had the Hardcore Championship, which is very entertaining, by the way. Yeah, another wrestler who left us way too soon. Crush, I really don't know much about Crush at all. Kurt Hawkins. I never minded Kurt Hawkins. He's in TNA now. But his WWE run, he was with Zack Ryder as one of the Edgeheads, which I thought was good. And then he had that gimmick where he never won a match on SmackDown, so I thought that was entertaining as well. So yeah, I liked Kurt Hawkins. I never minded him. Curtis Axel. The only time I liked Curtis Axel when he was doing the Axelmania gimmick, which really got over with the crowd. What year was that? 2014, I think. Yeah, that was great. But other than that, he was so boring. He was not good. Even in the ring. Yeah, he was not like his dad at all. I'm sorry, he just wasn't. Daba Kato, one of the worst names ever for a wrestler. And honestly, I never really saw any of his work, so yeah, just his name sucked. Dakota Kai. I'm gonna get heat for this, but she is very, very overrated. Honestly, the only match that I can think of liking that she ever had was against Tegan Knox at that one NXT TakeOver show. Yeah, I can't think of it, but yeah, only that match of when she turned heel on Tegan. That's it. I've never really been impressed with her any other times I've watched her. She was always just okay to me, and when she got released, my gosh, some people got so pissed. I'm like, really? That's who you guys are pissed over? Dakota Kai? Goodness sakes. Get real. Next up, Damien Sandow. I always liked Damien Sandow. I love the whole, like, you know, what was this thing? The savior of the masses, intellectual savior of the masses, something like that. I thought that was great. And then his whole thing with the Miz as missed out. That was so funny. I loved. Those were better times during that era of WWE where things weren't the best, but yeah, that was one of the highlights. to say now still with NWA. He might be. But yeah, a lot of his posts WWE stuff has not been good at all. I remember when he was Simon Rex in TNA. Ugh, gosh. Marky D put up a video of his career in TNA. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Damon Kemp. He was in NXT, but I really don't know too much about him. Dana Brooke. She sucked. I do feel a bit bad for her because I know she would always talk about like how much she trained and tried to get better, but she just didn't. She's now in TNA now with Ash by Elegance, which is a very odd name. I don't understand why you would call yourself that, but oh well. Danny Luna, I barely remember her. I really can't tell you anything about her. Danny Palmer, I remember hearing the name, but I don't know anything about her. Daniel Bryan. Next up, we got Daniel Bryan. Man, what a career he had in WWE. You know, from him getting first fired from the WWE for choking Justin Roberts with his necktie, to Vince never really seeing him as a world champion material, then winning the title at WrestleMania 30, and then the rest is history. Him becoming a main eventer, and definitely a more positive career than negative for Daniel Bryan, who at first, when I first saw him, I was like, oh, he's never gonna make it big. But when I first saw him on NXT, I never knew about his past, stints in Ring of Honor and all those other promotions. So I was very new to Daniel Bryan, so I never really saw him as a mega star, but he proved me and pretty much everyone else wrong. So yeah, I've always liked Daniel Bryan, always will. And by the way, is he like injured in AEW, or is he just like taking a break? I know he's getting really close to retirement. Was it him that said he wants to retire next year? It was someone, maybe it was AJ, someone said that. Daniel Bryan, one of the best of all time in ring, that is. So yeah, I love Daniel Bryan. Danny Burch, underrated. I remember when he teamed up with O'Neal Lorcan in NXT, and they were good. I forgot what their tag team name was. They had some name, but yeah, they were good. Darren Young, he sucked. He always has sucked. It's still funny when they gave him the gimmick of make Darren Young great again with Bob Backlund. When was he ever great? Darren Young always sucks and still sucks as a front roster in New Japan. Fuck Darren Young. He's terrible. I don't know how he's a trainer in New Japan. That blows my mind. Dash Wilder, part of the Revival, and now FTR. Dash is great, and so is Scott Dawson. Well, then Scott Dawson, now Dax Harwood. But yeah, I've seen a couple of catches, singles matches in AEW, and he's really good as when he's wrestling solo. So yeah, if AEW ever breaks up FTR, Dash has a good future. Same with Dax Harwood, but yeah, Dash, Catch Wheeler, yeah, he's good. Dave Mastiff, I remember him in NXT UK. I remember watching him, but I really can't recall how he was in the ring. I believe he was okay, but yeah. David Hart Smith, honestly a bit boring. I enjoyed Desigan more when he was part of that team. So yeah, I really don't have too much to say about David Hart Smith. David Otunga, he sucked. He was so bad. I really don't know what Vince saw in him, because they were kind of pushing him for a little bit. Yeah, he was bad. Don Murray. It was really cool seeing Don Murray at that ECW NXT show. That was really cool. Yeah, Don Murray, I liked her interview with Tori Wilson is a classic with Al Wilson. Goodness sakes. Oh boy, Dean Ambrose. Now John Moxley. I do not blame what gimmick he was given before he left. Absolutely terrible. But Dean Ambrose in like 2016, he was great. He was like on top of the promotion. Getting the title that year, and being on SmackDown, on all that stuff, feuding with AJ, which was great. Well, not really great that feud. But you guys get what I mean. He was great on SmackDown. But yeah, I thought Dean, for the most part, had a pretty good WWE career, with the Shield and all that. And now his run in AEW is not going that well. The whole Death of Irish crap is as overstayed as welcome. So yeah, hopefully he loses the title soon, but we'll see. But yeah, I did like Dean Ambrose and WWE. I keep talking about AEW in this video. Team Malenko. Have I seen any Team Malenko matches? Oh my gosh. I've probably seen like one, but I can't remember it. But he seemed like a good wrestler from the clips I've seen. So, yeah. Demolition. I've never seen any Demolition matches. I know. I'm a bad wrestling fan. Sue me. Tiana Perazzo. I saw a couple of her matches in AEW. To be honest, she's just okay. I expected more from her. I'm sure she's probably had better matches in other promotions, but yeah, from what I've seen, I just have not been that impressed. She's just mid to me. Dijak was awesome, especially his last run in NXT, and it pissed me off that he was released. I thought he was definitely main roster already, but he just never got called up, which is a shame. He was really good in the ring, like really, really, really good. And I still remember that match that he had with Keith Lee at NXT TakeOver. Where was it? Portland, I believe. NXT TakeOver Portland, I think. Yeah, classic match. Dwayne the Clown. Honestly, the only stuff that I've seen of Doink was, I don't think this was the same person who portrayed Doink back then. I believe his name was Matt Bloom. But anyways, I just remember seeing Doink in 2006 when he was on Vengeance, I believe, on that show, in a segment with like Eugene. So I think it was like facing like Umaga or something like that. Very weird. But yeah. Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler's time in WWE was very, what's the word? Maddening for us fans. Frustrating. That's very, very frustrating. It was awesome when he first cashed in, but then it went downhill and then uphill. When he had that breakout moment at the Survivor Series, and then nothing ever happened after that. And then, he tried a couple times to get the title back. Then that didn't happen. And then he had that weird heel turn in like 2017 where I think he fake retired and then he came back at the Royal Rumble. It was very strange. I still don't know what all that was about. And then he won the NXT title a couple years later, which was very random and out of the blue. Just for like a ratings pop, and then he was gone. And then he went to New Japan, which I thought he was going to sign with the company, but he never did, which pissed me off. Then he had a feud with David Finlay, and then he went to TNA. And yeah, he was TNA champion. So, yeah. So his post WWE career has actually been pretty good. Very, very solid. Actually, really good, actually. So yeah, good for Dolph Ziggler. Dr. Death Steve Williams, I really don't know too much about him. I've heard the name, but that's about it. Draco Anthony, no clue. Drake Maverick, I never really got the appeal of Drake Maverick. He was too silly for me. I know a lot of people associate him with his TNA run with EC3, but I never really watched that stuff. I just recall his what was that segment there was like it was like during a Raw match where he like peed his pants. It was really stupid. I didn't like it. A lot of people did. I thought it was very dumb. But yeah, I didn't really care for Drake Maverick. Drew Gulak, I thought he was good in the ring, but he was very boring. I remember when he was doing like the no flips, no dives thing in 205 Live. It was somewhat entertaining, but yeah, things just didn't really work out for Drew. Duke Drozy, I really don't know too much about him. Duke Hudson, this shocked me that he got released. Yeah, I really can't tell you too much about him, but I've seen a couple of tag matches with Andre Chase. There was one really good tag match recently. I forgot against who. Was it Axiom? Maybe. Yeah, I think it was Duke Hudson and I'm drawing a blank, the other guy versus Axiom. Yeah, that was really good. So yeah. Oh boy. Then we have Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Gosh, the whole like WrestleMania mess, like the whole booking thing with TKO and Triple H. Ugh, I've heard so many different stories about like, you know, the conflicts that arise backstage of like how to book the show and all that crap. And The Rock's view on like his whole like final boss character is absolutely terrible. I don't know if you guys heard, but The Rock said that he felt like the final boss didn't need to come back at this WrestleMania, which is insane to me. The main event, I hated the main event between John Cena and Cody, but it really would have made things a little bit better if The Rock showed up and, you know, did something, but no, we got fucking Travis Scott instead. It still pisses me off. But besides, you know, modern Rock, I've always liked The Rock. You know, his promos were awesome. He had so many great matches. Yeah. Then we have Earthquake. I really don't know too much about Earthquake, so yeah. EC3. I thought he was gonna do great things in this company, but it just didn't work out. I still don't know why they gave him a non-talking gimmick on the main roster. Very strange, because he can talk, but Vince thought he shouldn't make it make sense. I don't know. Then we got Eddie Dennis. I don't know who you are. Eddie Thorpe. I thought he had potential, but I guess the higher-ups did not, so he got released. So yeah. Eden, which is very strange to see that name, aka Brandy Rhodes, who I find to be very, very annoying. She seems really nice as a person, but on screen, my gosh, super annoying. And she was awful as a wrestler in AEW. My gosh, that little run that she had. I forgot what her little group was called with Awesome Kong and what was the other girl's name? I forget. Oh, Mel, that's it, Mel. Ugh, where they were like cutting the girl's hairs off. Oh my gosh, girl's hair. Terrible, absolutely terrible. El Torito, one of the, probably the best pre-show match of all time with Hornswoggle in the WLC match. Classic. Elektra Lopez, pretty shocking to see her release. I remember watching her a couple of times in NXT and I thought she was pretty good. But just wasn't meant to be. Elias, I thought he had potential, and he was getting over with the crowd, and the crowd really started to hate him and like play along with his whole like, you know, gimmick, which always entertained me. I thought that was great, and he is still doing that to this day in TNA. So, you know what? Good for Elias. I'm happy for him. I did not like the stupid storyline with him like having like multiple personalities. Like, you know, the whole feud with like Kevin Owens. Terrible. That shit sucked. Ember Moon very talented. I don't know why she never really did anything on the main roster. It blows my mind. But yeah, Ember was really great in NXT. Like, really good. And I loved her finisher, the Eclipse, right? Yeah. Awesome finisher. And she is still Ring of Honor Women's Champion to this day. I saw the number recently. It was like 900 and something. So, yeah. I do wish she can do more than just Ring of Honor, because let's face it, Ring of Honor is a dead promotion. Tony Khan killed that off really quickly. So, yeah, I do wish she would do more. Whoops. And now she is red. Next up, Amelia McKinsey. I don't know. Emma. I always liked Emma. I thought she was good in NXT. And I thought she was going to get a push on the main roster, but she never did. I remember when she came back as Emelina, which that sucked. That never went anywhere at all. I believe it only lasted just that one episode of Raw, and that was it. So, what a waste. Epico, he sucked. Him and Primo, they were a bad tag team, very boring. And of course, they were Los Matadores, which also sucked. So, yeah. Eric Young, I feel bad for Eric Young. He should have done way more in WWE. And I like Sanity, as I said earlier. Sanity was great. I thought they were really cool group, but yeah. And I also enjoyed Eric Young and TNA as well. Eva Marie, absolutely terrible. My gosh, I remember when they tried pushing Eva Marie down our throats, you know, to promote Total Divas. Oh, gosh. Bad times. Evan Bourne, I've always liked Evan Bourne, aka Matt Sydal. Very talented. I will always have that image, that shot of like Randy giving Evan Bourne the RKO mid shooting star press. Absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, Evan Bourne, he's alright with me. Eve, beautiful, beautiful woman, but a pretty boring wrestler. So yeah, that's Eve. This is the crap I was mentioning earlier. Fucking Ezekiel, get this shit out of here. Moving on. Ezekiel Jackson. I thought he had potential. He was pretty bad in the ring, but he had the size, he had the look, and his theme song was great. You know, this is what you call domination. I thought this theme song is great. I need to put it on my phone. Fandango, he came back to NXT not too long ago, which was a huge surprise for me. And he was over, man, back in, was it post WrestleMania 29 and 2013, that Raw after Mania, where like everyone was doing like the Fandango dance. Yeah, that was great, good times. But in the ring, Fandango really wasn't that great. Yeah, he was pretty shit wrestler, but the gimmick I thought was entertaining at a very low mid-card level, that is. Finlay, I've always liked Finlay. Finlay's great, a very underrated wrestler. Yeah, I like Finlay. Flash Morgan Webster, I remember this guy, but I really can't tell you too much about him. He was on some tag team with someone else in NXT UK. I can't remember who, but yeah. Francine, I believe she was from ECW. Yeah. Another person I can't really tell you too much about. Giant Gonzalez. I don't know too much about Gonzalez, but I want to mention this. For those of you who watched New Japan Pro Wrestling, at the recent Dominion show this past Sunday, Sonata, I kid you not, dressed almost exactly like Giant Gonzalez. If you don't believe me, look it up. Well, actually, if you want to save your eyes, don't look it up. It's terrifying. Kinda sick, so cringe. Next up, Gigi Dolan. I thought she was she was doing well with that new group with what was it with? Oh my gosh, with Shotzi and Tatum Paxley, I believe. Yeah, she's really good, by the way. I thought they were gonna do good things in NXT, but nope, they just released Gigi. So yeah, Gilbert is hilarious. I am not a Goldberg fan, so seeing Gilbert every time makes me laugh. Giovanni Vinci. Alright, Giovanni Vinci is underrated, man. I'm so pissed that WWE broke him up from Imperium and then basically did nothing. They had all those vignettes on SmackDown, but oh yeah, he made his debut and then he lost like every match that he had in like seconds. Irritating. He is so talented. I remember first seeing him in the Cruiserweight Classic, and yeah, he was really good then, and he's really good now. I haven't heard or seen him since his release, so yeah, I wish him the best. The gobbledygooker, stupid. Goldust. I always like Goldust. Very entertaining. His team and segments with Booker T were absolutely hilarious. And yeah, Goldust is great. Grand Metalik, also another Cruiserweight Classic guy right here. He's really good. I'm surprised WWE didn't do more with Grand Metalik because he, as I said, was very entertaining in the ring. But I don't know. I guess WWE just values promos too much, and I'm guessing his English isn't the best, so that's probably why he never got a push. I think that's also, speaking of the Cruiserweight Classic, why they didn't have Kota Ibushi win the tournament, because he couldn't speak English that well. I think that's the story, if I'm not mistaken, which I think made Kota leave or something. I forget what. Guru Raj, I don't know. Hachiman, no clue. Haku, I know very little about Haku. So yeah. Hakushi. Again, I did see his match for the first time recently at the ECW show that I reviewed on my channel when he teamed with, was it the Great Muta against Rafa Damas Sabu? I believe I'm correct if I think of the same person. But yeah, he was good if I'm thinking of who that is, yeah. Oh my gosh, Hardcore Holly. A scary dude, that's for sure. Growing up, I liked Hardcore Holly, but the more that I heard about him, the less I liked him, especially what he did to Matt Cavatilli in Tough Enough. My gosh, that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to watch. I even watched it with my mom, because she and I, we watched like the whole show together, and even she was like in shock, and she's not like a big wrestling fan, but yeah, she couldn't believe it either. So yeah, fuck Hardcore Holly. Next, Heartland. I thought Heartland had potential, and apparently he got fired because he sucked too bad. So, but I actually liked him and Joe Casey as a pairing together. I thought they were in line for a big push, but they just weren't. Heath Slater. I always liked Heath. I never really cared too much for him in the ring, but outside of the ring, he was very entertaining. We got Hideo Itami, aka Kenta, without a picture that won't load for me for some reason. Alright, here's the thing about Hideo/Kenta. I like him. I like him. I like his personality. He's actually really funny outside the ring, like in backstage interviews, especially in New Japan. In the ring, I might get some flack for this. A bit overrated. He wrestles a very slow style, and I'll be honest, a lot of his matches I pretty much zone out for. Don't get me wrong, he's really good in the ring, but I don't know, just his style just doesn't really appeal to me that well, or that much. I've seen a lot of his matches, but I really can tell you one that stood out, that I like. Oh my gosh, I love that match. So yeah, this makes me sound like I hate Kenta Hideo, but I really don't. I like Kenta. But yeah, I don't know, his wrestling style just isn't for me. But I will try and change that. I'll watch more of his matches. Oh my gosh. Ho Ho Loon. He was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know why WWE had him in the Cruiserweight Classic, but they did. And he was bad. He was really, really bad. Hornswoggle. I always enjoyed Hornswoggle in WWE. A lot of great moments from my childhood. You know, his feud with JBL and Vince McMahon, that was great. The whole stuff with DX I have found entertaining. You know, Little People's Court. I loved it. But I did not like us when he won the Cruiserweight title at the Great American Bash. I thought that was a huge slap in the face to the Cruiserweight wrestlers. But yeah, other than that, I liked Hornswoggle. I never minded him. Eichmann Gyro, I thought he was a goof. I never really cared for him. Indy Hartwell, overrated. I don't get the appeal of her at all. A lot of people love her and were very upset when she got released. But yeah, every time I saw her, she was mid, very boring in the ring. That's just me. The IRS, of course I know who he is, but I don't know too much about him. I just find the gimmick hilarious. Isaiah Swerve Scott. WWE really did not know what they had at the time with Isaiah Swerve Scott, aka Swerve Strickland. I think he is doing incredible things in AEW. I love the whole gimmick. I love him with Prince Nana. And I am actually really glad that he was it released or, yeah, of course he got released. Or did his contract get expired? I think he got released. So yeah, I'm glad he did. That kind of sounds horrible for me to say, but you guys get what I mean. So yeah, I'm happy for Swerve. Isla Dawn. Yeah, she was bad. She was not that good in the ring. I remember her and Alpha Fire tried to start like that tag team, but yeah, it didn't really work out. Ivan Koloff, I don't know too much about him, but he looks like a scary dude. Jack Stars, I have no clue who that person is. Jack Swagger, the Hagermeister. Bad. Okay, you know what? The only time that I enjoyed Jack Swagger was when he teamed up with Cesaro as what were their name? The Real Americans with a subculture. That was good. I actually enjoyed that. But, you know, when he was World Heavyweight Champion, absolutely terrible. One of the worst world champions ever in any promotion. Jagger Reed. Oh, he's part of that weird group. I forgot what Schism, I believe. Yeah, very odd. Jakara Jackson. I heard about her, but I don't know too much about her. Jake Atlas. I don't know too much about him either. James Ellsworth. I talked about James Ellsworth earlier. I like James Ellsworth, but yeah, the stuff that came out about him, he deserved to be fired, and I don't really like him anymore. So, Jamie Noble, I like Jamie Noble. His whole thing with what was it, 2002 with Nydia, that was fantastic. The whole redneck gimmick. And I'm actually from the South. I'm from South Carolina, so I know some people like that. When I was a kid and in school, so yeah, that was great. And LC was a really good wrestler too, underrated. Jason Jordan, I loved his time with Chad Gable in American Alpha. They were fantastic. When he went solo as a singles wrestler, as Kurt Angle's son, horrendous stuff. I hated that whole storyline. It was so bad. And you know, it does suck that Jason Jordan got injured. I forgot what exactly happened to him, but yeah, I don't think he can ever wrestle again. Maybe it was something with his neck, but yeah. Jazz was great and very underrated. And she was very strong too, a very strong woman. Yeah, I like Jazz a lot. Very, very good. And her matches were very good as well, with like Trish Stratus and others. Very good. Jeff Hardy, pretty much all of our childhood favorites growing up. Yeah, Jeff Hardy he's awesome, man. And by the way, I swear every year that like what was like that promo video for like Jeff Hardy with that song Rooftops by Lost Prophets. If you guys know what I'm talking about, then you know. But yeah, it was like the video like hyping up Jeff Hardy. I swear I see it like every year, and I always send my friend that video saying, like, it's our tradition now to send it every year to each other, like memories, nostalgia. But yeah, man, Jeff Hardy in like 2008, 2009. Oh my gosh, top of the world, man. Good times, very good times. Jessamine Duke sucked. Jessie Kamea, don't know. Jillian Hall. My ears. Oh boy. I'm surprised he's on the page. Jim Cornette. I love Jim Cornette. I'm not afraid to admit it. I always listen to his podcast, the clips on YouTube. And yeah, he always makes me laugh. I know a lot of people hate his opinion, but everyone has an opinion. Do I agree with everybody's opinion? No. Do I hate them for it? Yes, but that's besides the point. Yeah, I respect Jim Cornette for telling it how it is. He's not afraid to let his real, true personal feelings out there. And I know a lot of people are afraid to do that nowadays, so they won't get canceled or whatnot. So yeah, I respect Jim Cornette. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, of course I know who he is, but I really haven't. I don't think I've ever watched a Hart Foundation match. I know that's pretty bad of me. Jimmy Smith. Wow, I don't remember. Oh, okay, yeah. He did get released. He was the Raw commentator for a bit, and then he got replaced by I forgot his name, but yeah. I really don't remember what Jimmy's voice sounded like. I really wasn't watching much Raw during that time, so yeah. Jinder Mahal. He sucked. I never liked Jinder, and him being WWE champion was a travesty. And it really killed SmackDown and all the momentum that brand had during that time period. Terrible. Jenny, I remember from NXT UK, she was NXT UK champion, I believe. And she's also married to Gunther. But I've never seen her wrestle before, so. Joe Coffey, another NXT UK guy, or person. I remember seeing him a couple times. He was alright. So yeah, not really much for me to say about him. Joey Mercury, I know him from his time with Eminem, with Johnny Nitro and Melina. They were a fantastic tag team. Of course, you can't talk about Joey Mercury without mentioning the ladder spot with the Hardys. My gosh, that's an image that I will never, ever get out of my head till the day I die. Joey Styles is great. I really wish he would come back. Has he ever done anything post WWE? I swear, once he got released, nothing, just radio silence. But yeah, I love Joey Styles, always have, and I wish he would come back someday. Wow, John Laurinaitis, I can't believe he's on this page. Yeah, fuck John Laurinaitis, piece of shit. John Morrison, he's great. From my childhood, I mostly remember him as Johnny Nitro. Him as John Morrison was alright. I didn't really care too much for him as that persona of his. He says so many fucking names. But yeah, I really liked his time as Johnny Nitro with Melina and with Eminem. Johnny Saint, who was this old timer? I have no clue. JoJo. I feel really sorry for JoJo. As you guys know, she was Bray's wife, so now widow. So yeah, I feel really bad for her. Jonathan Coachman, the coach. I always liked Jonathan Coachman. I remember his days when he was in that feud, or part of the feud with DX and the McMahons on Raw. And of course, his backstage segments with The Rock are classics. So yeah, I've always liked Jonathan Coachman. A lot of people don't like him, which I never understood why. He always entertained me. Joseph Connors, I forgot about this guy. Wow. Man, it's been so long, I can't really tell you guys too much about him. Josh Matthews. He sucked. He was never good, to be honest. Josiah Williams, I have no clue. Wow, JDG, I've heard that name in a while. I loved JDG when he was part of Crime Time with Shad, rest in peace. But when they broke up, he really didn't do that much. He was really only on Superstars. So yeah. Justin Gabriel, I thought he had potential to do more things with the company, but he never did, post Nexus. So yeah, I thought he was a fine wrestler. Justin Roberts, I always liked Justin Roberts. I thought he was a good announcer. And he's still announcing for AEW, correct? I think he is. I feel like there's like some new announcer, so yeah, I don't know. Caitlyn, yeah, she really wasn't that great. Sorry. Yeah, just not that good. Pretty mid. She was pretty, but that's about it. Kalisto was great. You know what? I remember him mostly when he was part of the Lucha Dragons with Sin Cara and NXT. They were a very good team, underrated. But even as a solo wrestler, I thought Kalisto was really good. I remember there were talks of him like being the next Rey Mysterio, which, let's be honest, there really will never be a big of a star as Rey Mysterio, like to the American audience, like as Rey Mysterio. That's like such a far-fetched idea. I mean, I guess they could one day, but I don't know. I just feel like you could never top Rey Mysterio. But yeah, I like Kalisto. Where is he, by the way? I have no clue. Kamala. I know very little about Kamala, so I can't really comment on him. Carl Anderson. A very mid wrestler, a part of a very mid tag team of the Good Brothers with Luke Gallows. Yeah, I've been going back and watching a lot of like old New Japan, like from like the early 2010s, and Carl Anderson was like all over the shows, like, and I was like, what? So he got pushed pretty hard in Japan, so I guess that's what got WWE's eye on him. So yeah. Cassius Ono, aka Chris Hero. I'm sorry, but I will never understand why the guy never lost weight. I believe I remember reading that was a big issue with him and the company, that he just wouldn't get into shape, and it was really noticeable in NXT, which is a shame because he's actually a really good wrestler and a veteran in this business, and I have no clue what he's doing now. Actually, you know what? Let me look him up real quick. Let's see, Chris Hero. Where are you? Well, the first article that I see is 10 Forgotten Stars of WWE NXT. Where are they now? Hold on, bear with me here. Let me try and find Okay, here it is. Alright, it says here that he... Oh, wow. Okay, I did not know this. See now where it says a producer for AEW. Wow, okay. I never knew that. Okay, wow. No, good for him. That's good. So yeah, catch us out. I like him. Katana Chance. I liked her as well. She was a very small though, and I'm sorry, but you couldn't really ever take her seriously. You know, of that size. I know size doesn't really matter in wrestling nowadays, but I mean, come on. Like, he's very talented, but come on. Kane and Carter. Oh, that's pretty funny. They're like side by side with each other. I thought she was pretty good, you know, as a tag team with the Katana Chance. That's pretty much about it. I really don't know anything else about her. Caleb Braxton, one of the most annoying people outside the ring. I swear, I remember always seeing her tweets. I never followed her. Her tweets just always popped up for me, and she would complain all the fucking time about things. Like, shut the fuck up. So yeah, I never really liked Caleb Braxton to begin with. Kelly. I like Kelly. I thought actually she did do a lot for the company. I was about to say she didn't, but she actually did. I believe she was Divas champion one time, I think. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I remember first seeing her on ECW, a part of Extreme Expose. So yeah, I like Kelly. Ken Shamrock. I think I've seen a couple of his matches, but I really can't say too much about him. He seemed like a good wrestler. So yeah. Oh well, Kenny Dykstra, part of the Spirit Squad. Unpopular opinion, but I love the Spirit Squad. I thought they were good, you know, fodder for DX. So yeah, they were just straight from my childhood in 2006, because that's when I started watching wrestling. So yeah. Kenny Williams, don't know. Kevin Patrick, I forgot about him. He used to be a commentator. He was okay. He wasn't that bad, but yeah. Kevin Sullivan, a name that I've heard a lot, but I really can't tell you too much about him. So yeah. Karma is still very strange of like her situation with WB. I know that she left because she was having a child, and I believe that child didn't make it. She had a miscarriage, I believe, and she never came back to the company, which is a shame because she was awesome. No pun intended. She was awesome in TNA as Awesome Kong. She was so good there, and when she made her debut for WWE, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Awesome Kong. So I was really excited. So was everyone else. But yeah, just wasn't meant to be. Killian Dane. Wow, I forgot about him. He was part of Sandy, and I thought he was really good. I like Killian Dane. King Kong Bundy. The only match I've seen him in was that steel cage match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 2, and that's about it. And he really wasn't that great. Kona Reeves, the finest. Kona Reeves. Yeah, he sucked. He wasn't that good. Connor, Art of Ascension. Unpopular opinion. I thought the Ascension were good. I liked them. I thought they were very entertaining. And I don't know if they still are, but they were the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions. So yeah, I like Connor and Victor. Kushida. Now Kushida's really strange because, of course, I remember him being in NXT, but now that I'm sitting here and thinking, I don't think I've ever seen an NXT match of his, which is very odd because I was watching a lot of NXT during that time period. But I don't ever recall a Kushida match. The only match that I remember is when Alex Shelley came to NXT that one time, and he teamed with the Kushida to reform what was their name? The Time Splitters, I believe. And that's about it. So, yeah, very strange, but Kushida is awesome. As I said earlier, I've been going back and watching some old New Japan shows, as you guys know on my channel. And yeah, Kushida was amazing in New Japan. Actually, still is. He's still with the company. So yeah, I love Kushida. Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle's great. He's part of Undisputed Era, and now he's in AEW doing something. I don't know. But yeah, I've always liked Kyle. Do I think he was ever main event material? Not really, to be honest. I think he was NXT champion one time, if I'm not mistaken. I think he beat Adam Cole. It was during like the COVID year, or like in 2020. I think. I might be misremembering. But yeah, I like Kyle. I just never really saw him as main event, at that main event level. Lacey Evans, she had potential, but she sucked in the ring. She was really bad. Lana, someone who should have just stayed as a manager and never as a wrestler. She also sucked in the ring. So yeah. By the way, is she back with Rusev in WWE? I'm pretty sure I saw something where it said that she's like some Legends deal, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Lance Storm, underrated, very good wrestler. Lars Sullivan had potential, but yeah, he really blew it for himself. Especially when all that stuff came out of him. Yeah, you guys know. Next up, Layla. She was okay. I remember mostly when she was part of Late Cool with Michelle McCool, who I can't believe was in the Hall of Fame, but whatever. And she was Divas champion, and I didn't think she was that good in the ring. I'm sorry, she just wasn't. Leon Ruff. Is this the guy? No, I think it was someone else. But Leon Ruff, I barely remember him. I think he was the one who won the NXT. Oh my gosh, what's that title called? There are so many fucking titles in wrestling nowadays, I can't remember. I think he's the one who won like the title like on his first match with the company. So yeah, I thought he was alright. He didn't really stand out that much though. Lex Luger. Of course I know who he is, but I really don't know too much about him. Lindsay Dorado. He was good. But you know what? I miss his old mask because he used to not have the eye holes. He used to be like covered, which I thought looked really cool, but he got rid of it, which I'm still upset about. Sorry for the motorcycle noise in the background. Next up, Leo Rush, the quitter himself. I swear, anywhere he goes, he always quits. It's so crazy. I think he's really full of himself too. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a really good wrestler, very entertaining in the ring, and super quick. He has a lot of speed, and pulls off some really insane moves, but yeah, he is really full of himself. Anyways, Luke Gallows, I talked about him earlier. I first remember Luke when he joined the Straight Edge Society, and as a wrestler, he's never really been that good. So yeah, Luke Harper, very sad. Yeah, man, he was getting pushed hard in AEW, and then of course we all know what happened, which is such a shame. It's kind of eerie of how like close he and Bray, passed away. Like how close it was between those times. Yeah, I miss Luke Harper, always have, and it still pisses me off of how Luke wasn't involved in the match between Randy and Bray at WrestleMania 33. Yeah, 33. That was a great storyline, by the way, but yeah, they really screwed that up. But yeah, I miss Luke Harper. Mace. Or, was it? Yeah, Mace. I thought he had potential. He definitely had the size. He was a very tall guy. Actually, how tall is he? Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Because I still remember when Lesnar had like that face off, and he just towered over Brock. See, he is, oh my gosh, I don't know centimeters. I'm an American. Okay, 6'6". Oh my gosh, wow. Okay, damn. Or actually 6'7". I'm saying 6'8". Guys, I swear I'm seeing like 3 different height billings for him on Google. We'll go with 6'8". Alright. But yeah, like I was saying, he had potential, but yeah, they didn't really do too much with him besides like the maximum male models, which they're still doing now in AEW. That whole gimmick. With Mansoor at the bottom of him. I'll just go to him next. So yeah, Mansoor. Excuse me. I thought they were gonna do more with him because they got him. Wait, I first saw him at that Saudi show. I forgot which one. Ground Troll. I don't know. Yeah, he was alright. It wasn't bad. He had a look to him, but yeah, they only saw him as a tag team wrestler. So yeah, Malcolm Bivens. Honestly, I never really got the appeal of Malcolm Bivens. Always found him to be annoying and never funny, as a lot of people do. So yeah, Mandy Rose. She sucks. I never liked her. Never have, never will. And it's still baffling to me of how long she held that NXT Women's title. Gosh, they pushed her so hard, and she didn't deserve it at all. And honestly, I never really found her attractive. I thought she was ugly. She just looked really fake to me. So yeah. Next, Maria Kanellis. I've always liked Maria. I first saw her, of course, in WWE back in 2006 on Raw when she was like the backstage interviewer. It was like stupid. I'm not kidding, that was her whole gimmick. She was just very stupid. But yeah, I like Maria. Marina Shafir, you don't know me. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And she still hasn't improved to this day with the Death Rider. She still sucks. Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews, but I believe he was part of that Me Too movement, which got him fired. I think. I can't remember, but yeah, just a lot of the British wrestlers got in trouble for, the speaking out movement, which I'm glad that they did. I can't remember if Mark was part of that group or not. Yeah, very talented guy though. Mark Coffey, another NXT UK wrestler. I don't really know too much about him. I remember seeing his tag matches with Joe Coffey, but yeah. My gosh, Marty Jannetty. That dude has a life for sure. A very, yeah, Marty Jannetty. Mason Ryan, the guy who we all thought was Batista when he first made his debut. Mason Ryan sucked. He was definitely not Batista. I thought there was some potential for him because I think he went back to NXT for a bit, but yeah, nothing ever happened. Matt Camp, this jabroni. I actually remember Matt Camp best for when he was trying to defend that Hell in a Cell match between Seth Rollins and The Fiend, and then X-Pac got like pissed at him, like saying, how's there a DQ and Hell in a Cell match? That makes no sense. Why are you saying that? So yeah, he was just a stooge for the company. So yeah, never liked Matt Camp. Matt Hardy, I've always liked Matt Hardy. Always will, always have. And he has definitely made the most out of his career for sure, both in WWE and out. And a lot of people are gonna say that the broken Matt Hardy gimmick is like their favorite gimmick of his, but for me is when he was Virgin 1 Matt Hardy. Those segments were so entertaining, with him and Shannon Moore, and him trying to like be a cruiserweight and losing weight, just hilarious. But I do love broken Matt Hardy too. So yeah, we all love Matt Hardy. Oh boy, Matt Riddle, Mr. Troublemaker. He actually got a really decent push in WWE. I'm surprised he never was NXT I don't think he ever was. And he did pretty good on the main roster. He was United States champion, tag champion with Randy Orton, I believe. RK Bro, which was a great tag team, by the way. And I also really love his feud with Seth Rollins. The matches were disappointing, but the promos were fantastic. I love them. And now Matt Riddle, he just can't get himself out of trouble, which is a shame because he's actually really talented. But yeah, Matt Striker. I remember seeing Matt Striker in ECW when he was a teacher. And as a wrestler, I found him. Well, I shouldn't really say that. As the teacher gimmick, I found it entertaining, but as a wrestler, he sucked. He was not that good. I actually didn't mind his commentary. That is in New Japan. In WWE, it was pretty bad, but in New Japan, it was alright. He knew his stuff. Oh, speaking of commentators, Mauro Ranallo, one of the GOATs. Man, do I miss Mauro. Right? Mauro Ranallo. Yeah. Yeah, he was great. And fuck JBL for bullying him. I felt really bad for Mauro. Yeah, Mauro was great. In my opinion, he was up there with Jim Ross as one of the greats. Will he ever come back to WWE? I don't know about that. I believe he's doing commentating for, is it MMA? I think it's some I think that's what it is. But yeah, I miss Mauro. He was so good. So good. Max Moon. I've heard of him, and I still can't believe that's what they decided to get this guy to wear. Goodness sakes. Maxine. Ooh, I remember her in NXT season 3. She really wasn't that great. Mackenzie Mitchell. I thought she was still with the WWE. Wow. Okay. I didn't think she was that bad, but yeah. The Mean Street Posse. I've heard of them, but I really don't know too much about them. Meiko Satomura. I've heard of her, but I don't know too much about her. Melina. I've always liked Melina. I thought she was actually pretty good in the ring. Yeah, I liked her. She was straight from my childhood. Mercedes Martinez. She has a good look, but she really isn't all that great in the ring. Pretty boring, to be honest. Michelle McCool. As I mentioned earlier, I can't believe she's in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? She really wasn't that bad in the ring. She was pretty good, but she wasn't she didn't. I don't know. She's not Hall of Fame material. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Mickie James, way better than Michelle McCool in every way. But yeah, Mickie James is great. I will always remember her for her feud with Trish Stratus. That was great, by the way. And her match with her at WrestleMania 22. And what she did during the match, which I cannot say on YouTube, but if you guys know, you know. So, yeah, but I like Mickie James, always have, always will. Mike Kanellis, I thought there was potential for him when he first made his debut with Maria on SmackDown, but it just didn't turn out that way. Mikey, also part of the Superior Squad. As I said, I've already talked about the Superior Squad, so yeah, let's move on. Miss Elizabeth. Very, very sad what happened to Miss Elizabeth and the whole thing, like how she passed away. Honestly, I do blame Lex Luger for the things I've heard. Yeah, but yeah, I miss Elizabeth and Macho Man, of course. Very, very sad, very unfortunate. The Missing Link, I've heard of this guy, but I don't know too much about him. Mojo Rawley. I've always liked Mojo Rawley. I feel like I'm the only person who did like him. He got a lot of hate for, being too annoying and going overboard with his gimmick. I liked it. I'm glad he had character. Yeah, I really liked his time in NXT. His main roster run wasn't the best. he was teaming with Zack for a bit, and then he had that weird gimmick, as you can see on the picture, with like the mirror of him like being broken. I don't really know what all that was about. Yeah, turning him heel was a mistake. But yeah, I've always liked Mojo Rawley, a cool dude. He seems very nice, by the way. That's the ring. Buddy Matthews, super talented. The guy, he can wrestle his ass off. And shame on WWE for not pushing him. I remember that match that he had with Roman Reigns. That was so good. And it really pushed Roman Reigns to his limit as well. But yeah, Buddy is great. Always liked him. I remember first hanging when he was with Blake in NXT. Blake and Murphy, they were a good team. So yeah, I like Murphy. Mustafa Ali. I think he's doing way better in TNA now than he ever did in WWE. In WWE, I never cared for him. I thought he was kind of boring, you know, a cookie cutter babyface. That's pretty much all he was. If I'm correct, I think this is true. He was supposed to win the Elimination Chamber. You know, the spot or the chamber that Kofi won. And he was gonna take the WWE Championship, from Daniel Bryan, which I thought was insane. When I heard about that, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So, and I think he was supposed to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Yeah, he was. He said that in an interview. And that was when Brock Lesnar came in and won it. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, I do like the stuff that Mustafa's doing in TNA now. It's really good. MVP, Montel Fontania supporter. Straight from my childhood. I best remember MVP during his feud with Matt Hardy on SmackDown. And they were always like challenging each other to like different games, like a basketball game. What was it? The other one, like a hot dog eating contest. I forgot, but yeah, great stuff. I really loved their feud on SmackDown. And as a tag team too, they were tag team champions actually. Yeah, I was like MVP as a wrestler though, and wasn't really that great. But besides that, I liked MVP. Neville, another wrestler, along with many on this list who I thought could have done more with the company, but he was mainly just stuck as a cruiserweight guy on 205 Live. And I will never forget when he almost won the WWE Championship from Seth Rollins in that match. He was so close, but he didn't. But I will say that he absolutely killed it on 205 Live when he turned heel. That was great stuff. And then you had Enzo Amore beating him for the title. Oh, by the way, I don't think Enzo was on this list. That's crazy, but Big S is. Actually, let me go see real quick. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's crazy. Damn. That sucks. I guess I'll speak about Enzo. Yeah, Enzo was great. It's a real shame of how, he got let go by the company. Unbelievable, like that scandal that came out about him and that girl, which I think turned out to not be true. But yeah, Enzo was awesome on the mic, and a lot of people say that he was terrible in the ring. He wasn't that bad. Yeah, like I said about Big Cass, he should have won the titles with him. But yeah, on the mic, Enzo was fantastic. Anyways, getting off my Enzo tangent, or not really tangent, but getting sidetracked. Nigel McGuinness is kind of weird seeing him on here. I really mainly associate him with the AEW and his Ring of Honor stuff. See, I don't really recall too much stuff that he did in WWE now that I'm thinking about it. He was a commentator in NXT UK. But yeah, that's about it. Nikki Bella. Alright, I'll say this about Nikki Bella. She did improve a little bit in the ring. When she was on SmackDown in like 2016, she wasn't that bad. But besides that, she was the worst. I can't stand the Bellas. both suck. They both always will suck. And Nikki is back yet again. And I can't believe what they had Io Sky say on Raw about, like, Nikki Bella paved the way. Give me a fucking break. Anyways, Nina Samuels. I have no clue. I guess she was from NXT UK. No Way Jose. I love No Way Jose. I remember seeing him at a live event for NXT when they came to South Carolina back in 2016, and he was over, man. It was so fun seeing him live. Yeah, I just loved the gimmick. I thought it was so fun. So yeah, I liked No Way Jose. Oni Lorcan, similar to what I said about Danny Burch, very underrated, and I loved his team with him. I don't know what he's doing now, actually. Actually, let me look it up. Oni Lorcan. Let's see. He retired. Wow. That's crazy. I never knew that. Did he really? Damn. He's only 39. Why did he retire? Dude, that's crazy. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, he's a coach at the Performance Center. Oh, really? Oh, good for him. Okay, he's a producer for NXT too. Okay. That's good for him. Good for him. I don't know why he retired at a pretty young age. 39 is not that old, but yeah, I've always liked Oni Lorcan. I thought he was good. Oro Mensa, terrible name. I really don't know too much about him. He was in NXT, but that's all I know. Paige, I heard that she wants to come back to WWE, which I think she will, actually. But Paige, I didn't think that her in-ring work was all that great, as some people say. Her match with Charlotte in NXT was really good. I do remember that match. And I think she faced Natalia too, and they had a pretty good match as well, right? Or am I misremembering? It's been a long time. Yeah, actually, you know what? The thing that I like most about Paige was her theme song. I loved her theme song. It was so good. But yeah, I do think she'll be back with the company soon. Papa Shango, aka the Godfather, which was a way better gimmick than this one. Honestly, the only thing I could tell you about Papa Shango was when he was late to the ring. I think it was during WrestleMania, during that match. What match was it? Hulk Hogan versus... Was it Sid Justice? It was someone. But yeah, he was late to the ring, which was funny. Percy Watson. I thought his gimmick was hilarious in NXT. Oh yeah. I thought that always made me laugh. But yeah, he was never really a good wrestler, so... I thought he had personality, though. But yeah. Barry Saturn. He's still alive, right? I recall that he was having a lot of drug issues. Let me see. He is still alive. He's only 58. Wow, I thought he was older. Okay. Yeah, I've seen very little of Barry's work. I remember seeing one match of his, and he was actually good. Really good. So, yeah, I do wish him the best. I hope he's clean now. I see a recent picture of him, and yeah. Yeah, wish him the best. Berja Pirata. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I don't know who you are. Peyton Royce. Was never really fond of her in the ring, but yeah, I really don't have any other thoughts about her. I know she had a kid with Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears, so congrats to her and Sean Spears for having the child. That's awesome. Who is this guy? Primate. The fuck? I don't know who this is. Interesting name and look though. Primo. Same thing that I said about Epic earlier. Never cared for him. Thought he sucked. Psychosis. I know who he is, but I don't know too much about him. Quincy Elliott's a complete embarrassment. Why they sent him in the first place and why they had him on national TV is beyond me. Gosh, get the fuck off my screen. Rampage Brown, he was in NXT UK, I believe. I don't know too much about him though. Ranjit Singh, best known for being the manager of the Great Khali. I think that's really all he did with the company. So yeah. Raven's cool. I really need to watch more Raven stuff. Not too long ago, I went on YouTube and watched a lot of Raven's promos from ECW, and they were so good. And he really fit with the times, and in the '90s with all grunge scene and all that stuff. And yeah, Raven was so cool. If I was alive during the '90s, I was born in '97, but if I was a kid during that time, like 10 or a teenager, Raven would have been my favorite wrestler growing up, for sure, in ECW. Renee Young, I like Renee, always have, and also congrats to her and John Moxley for their child as well. Razor, same thing that I said about Akam earlier. I like the Authors of Pain, although they were a good team. It's a shame that things never worked out with, what was their team called, with the Seth Rollins? I forget. It's not the Final Testament. That was Karen Cross's team, but they were also part of that team too, which I thought should have worked out, but it didn't. So yeah. Rhino's awesome, and in my opinion, he has the best spear out of everyone. The core is awesome. It will never be topped. Braun Breaker spear is at that level, but I would say that is tied. I still love the core a bit more. It's just so iconic. Like I said, Ricardo Rodriguez, the manager for Alberto Del Dipshit. I thought Ricardo, he played his role good. When he got in the ring, though, my gosh, absolutely terrible. Rich Swann, he had potential, and he did hold the Cruiserweight title, but then, gosh, was it that he, beat up his girlfriend, on, the highway or something? It was some, crazy thing that came out about him. He, abused his girlfriend. If I remember correctly, I think that's what happened. So yeah, he's a piece of shit. Talented guy though, but yeah, and his theme song was great too. But yeah, piece of shit. Rick Boogs, oh man, I like Rick Boogs. He was very entertaining. I thought he had real potential. He was alright in the ring. It was very odd when they paired him up with Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't understand that pairing at all. But yeah, Rick Boogs was great. Very, very good. As a personality-wise, he was great. Rick Martel, a name that I've always heard about, but I don't know too much of. Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner's brother, of course, and the father of Braun Breaker. Oh my gosh, have I never seen a Steiner brothers match before? What is wrong with me? Oh my gosh, I will change that, don't worry. I will change that very soon. Ricochet. I used to like Ricochet. Now I can't stand the guy. He is so cringe, and he won't shut the fuck up on Twitter. X. He has such a big mouth, and he always finds himself, he always embarrasses himself. I swear. Every time he tweets something, it's just, ugh. Come on, dude. Really? But besides him outside the ring, in the ring, he's very talented. Still is. So, yeah. Riddick Moss. He was in NXT for a long time, and then he got called up to the main roster, and he got a decent push. He never went anywhere, never challenged. Did he challenge for a title? I feel like he won, some, number one contenders match one time. But yeah, he never, went too far. And for good reason, he really wasn't that great in the ring, and it was kind of boring. Boss gimmick with Baron Corbin. My gosh, kill me. Riley Osborne, I've heard the name, but I don't know too much about him. Rip Valor, I've heard about him, don't know too much about him. Scary dude. Road Dogg, Ali Road Dogg, but him as what was his role? As like a backstage producer, or like, was it like on the creative team, a writer? Yeah, he's terrible. The ideas that he's come up with, or that he's supposedly come up with, are straight up ass. So, I believe there was a period where he was running SmackDown, and gosh, terrible stuff. They have Rob Gronkowski on this list. Okay. Of course, you guys all know who he is. He's a football player, and honestly, I don't know too much about him. I don't watch the NFL. I only watch college football, so yeah. Roderick Strong, very good wrestler. Of course, I know him best from the Undisputed Era, but yeah, just a really good wrestler. Rohan Raja, don't know. Ronda Rousey, fuck Ronda Rousey. I've never liked her, never have, and never will. Rosa Mendes, absolutely terrible. Ru Fang, don't know. Ruby Riott, man, it sucks. I'm going on a AEW tangent here, but she has so much momentum when she first made her debut with AEW, and then nothing ever happened with her, which is a real shame. I thought she could have been like champion. I don't think she ever was AEW Women's Champion. She was even champion in WWE for that matter. So yeah, in the ring I thought she was alright. She wasn't like great or anything, she was just good. So yeah, I just wish there was just more for Ruby Soho and AEW. And I love that she used the song too. The song is great. Oh boy. Right back. Alright. Right back at his peak in like 2012, 2013 was great. Alright, I will admit that, and everybody knows that he was over with the crowd, dude. I remember all the chants for like Goldberg, but yeah, I've always liked Ryback. I don't care, man. I thought he was good. His heel turn was not that good. I didn't like it, but yeah, his like initial WWE run besides NXT was great. Loved it. Sable. I really don't have an opinion of Sable. She sucks in the ring, but yeah, I really don't have an opinion of Sable. Ah, Sabu, way too soon, man. Way too soon. I can't believe he passed. Actually, what did he pass away from? I don't think I ever knew. Hold on, let me see. Did it ever come out how he died? Let me see. That was from May 12th. How did he? I don't think it's ever been said of how he died. Let me check Wikipedia. No. Wow, okay. I don't know how he died. But yeah, very unfortunate, man. I've always loved Sabu. I did discover Sabu pretty late. Because as a kid, I always watched ECW on Sci-Fi. Actually, no, fun fact, that was actually the first WWE show I ever watched. And that's actually, well, that's not really true. But it's part of the reason why it got me into wrestling in the first place. It was in August of 2006. And I remember seeing Sabu, and I was like, that's my guy. So, yeah, I always loved Sabu as a kid, and still do now. And yeah, it sucks he's no longer with us, but we will always remember is a great match, by the way. If you guys haven't seen the match, watch it. Sam Gradwell, don't know. Samantha Irvin, I thought was always overrated. I never cared for her as an announcer. As a singer, though, she's really good. I don't know if you guys have heard that song of hers. What's it called? Is it Shoddy something? It's actually good. So yeah, I like her music career better than her WWE career. Samir Singh, the Singh brothers sucked. I never cared for them. Samoa Joe, I love Samoa Joe. Always have. It pisses me out that he never won the world title on the main roster, and I know why. Is because he was always injury prone. But still, a lot of guys were injury prone. I mean, look at Daniel Bryan, for instance. Like, come on. And so many other guys do, but yeah, I'm glad he had a successful career in NXT. And to this day, he should have beaten Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. Ugh, gosh, pisses me off. That segment is still great, by the way. I always go back and rewatch it from time to time. But yeah, Samoa Joe's great. Loved him in TNA, loved him in WWE and AEW. He's done pretty good things. So yeah, and he's still wrestling to this day. So yeah, Joe is awesome. Sangha, I've heard the name, but I don't know much about him. Santino Marella, I've never liked Santino. I've pretty much watched him all his career back when he first made his debut on that Raw, when he got picked from the ground to face Umaga. So yeah, just never was a fan, and I never found him funny either. A lot of people do. I don't know, I just found him cringe. So yeah. Saray, I really don't know too much about her. I knew that she was talented. But yeah. Oh boy. Sasha Banks. I loved her time in NXT on the main roster. She was a bit watered down. And now I can't stand her as Mercedes Moné, over pushed. And she botches quite a lot nowadays. My gosh. Every match I see her in, botch. Like, come on, seriously. So yeah, it's a shame. I was a really big fan of hers in NXT. But yeah. Savio Vega, I don't know too much about him. Yeah. Saxon Huxley. I have no clue who this caveman guy is. Scott Dawson, I talked about him earlier, so I'll just skip over him. Scott Steiner, one of my all-time favorites, which is no joke, I love Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner, dude, every time I say his name, or if I see him, he always makes me laugh, I swear. I mean, like, how can you not like Scott Steiner? I mean, come on. And I always go back and watch his promos in TNA all the time. I can, like, quote all of them. He is, in my opinion, Scott Steiner is like the funniest pro wrestler ever. He always makes me laugh. And you know, it's unfortunate how his WWE run turned out. His matches were the shits. They were not good. So yeah, I do wish things could have been different for him in WWE, and it still blows my mind that he didn't make the card for WrestleMania 19. I mean, I know he sucked. He wasn't as good as he used to be, but come on, man, how do you leave him off the WrestleMania card after you like just signed him like a couple months beforehand? But whatever, this guy's is great. Scripps, gosh, terrible gimmick, terrible name. Talented guy though, he can get in the air. But yeah, Shaw Samuels, I've heard the name, don't know much about him. Shane Douglas, I've heard the name, don't know too much about him. Shanky, gosh, dumb. Shayna Baszler, I liked Shayna Baszler. I always have ever since I saw her in NXT. She was actually one of my favorites for a time. I thought she was great. And then she came to the main roster. And that's where it went all downhill. They had her biting people in that stupid Elimination Chamber match. And then she lost to Becky, I believe it was Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. And yeah, she was never the same after that. I don't think she ever won the women's title on the main roster. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, I always liked Shayna Baszler. Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard. Same with Shayna, I've always loved Shelton. He's straight from my childhood. Yeah, man, he's so underrated. One of the most underrated wrestlers ever. Has so many classic matches too. You know, with Shawn Michaels. What was that one match? Oh yeah, that tag team ladder match with the Hardy Boys at what show was it? It was in 07. Was it Backlash? Maybe. I forget. I remember that match being great. And many more. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin is awesome. I always think about this. Could he have been world champion? I don't know. I'm always one to say not everyone deserves to be a world champion, even if they can be, they shouldn't be. And I'm sorry, I just feel like Shelton should have just stayed at the mid card, but he definitely had potential to be world champion. I just don't think he should have been. So yeah, if you guys get what I mean. But yeah, Shelton's great. Always loved the guy. Shotzi, overrated. I didn't think she was that good at all. She always botched. She had that terrible match. I forgot what it was, and her promo skills, my gosh. Ugh, terrible. Sid. I don't know much about Sid. His promos make me laugh. Especially that one where he said, let's do that again, and then I think it was Mean Gene who said, we're live, pal. Hilarious. Sid passed away, right? I think he did. Let me see. Psycho Sid. Oh yeah, he did. Dude, last year actually. Yeah, I forgot about that. He was only 63 years old. Wow, very young. Yeah. Sid Scala. He looks familiar, but I don't know much about him. Simon Gotch. The man who tried to kill Enzo Amore. I was a big fan of the Vaudevillains. I thought they were a good team. But besides that, yeah, there really isn't much to say about Simon Gotch. Great mustache, though. And of course, I'm sure we have all seen that video of him shooting on Enzo Amore. Yeah, good video. Sin Cara. He sucked. The only time I liked Sin Cara was when he was part of the Lucha Dragons, and also when he first made his debut. He was cool at first, but then, yeah, it turned out he really wasn't made for. He didn't fit the WWE style, and then the Sin Caras got switched out. The original Sin Cara left, and the other guy took over. I forgot who it was. But yeah, what could have been? I remember they were really hyping him up too. It was like the next Rey Mysterio. Looking back at it, like, seriously. Wow. Skinner. I don't know too much about him. Slick. Another guy who I don't know too much about. Sloane Jacobs. Never heard of her. Sonya Deville. Sucked. Never good. Never saw anything in her. I remember when she was Raw GM, and that was so bad. Good lord. Stacey Killer. I'll say this, George Clooney is a fucking idiot. That's all I'm gonna say. Steve Blackman, a badass. I remember reading about the story of how like JBL tried to haze him back in, I believe it was the late 90s. And Steve Blackman threatened to like kick his ass, and then that made JBL back off. So yeah, Steve Blackman, he's awesome in my book. Steve Cutler. This is Steve Macklin, right? In TNA, I believe that is. This is the same pictures on my TV screen as a child, and I liked the guy. I thought he was talented, and I was always rooting for him when I was younger. But he always lost. He never won anything. So yeah. Summer Rae, she had potential, but it just wasn't meant to be. So yeah. Next, Neil Singh. As I said earlier, the Singh brothers sucked. T-Bone, I forgot about this guy. He was in NXT UK. I don't really remember too much about him though. So yeah. Tajiri, I love Tajiri. Tajiri is awesome. He is so entertaining in the ring. I don't think I've ever seen a bad match of Tajiri's. He is so fun to watch, and his kicks are, my gosh, they're scary. I would never want to get kicked by him. I believe Tajiri is still wrestling to this day. Just recently, he wrestled for somewhere. I forget what promotion it was. Is it Noah? I think he might be part of Noah now. I don't know. But yeah, Tajiri's great. Love the guy. Tatanka's cool. I haven't seen too many of his matches. I remember he came back in like 06 on SmackDown. I think he came back at the Royal Rumble that year. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Tatanka's cool. Oh wow, Daenerys Conti. I always forget that she was in WWE. I think there is some potential for her. She actually came back recently to AEW. So, yeah, I think that she has improved. But, yeah, we'll see. Taz. I love Taz. Taz is great, both as a wrestler and as a commentator. But yeah, Taz is awesome. I recently watched this match with, was it Bam Bam Bigelow? Oh my gosh. Earlier I was talking about how, like, I've never seen a match with Bam Bam, but I have. It was against Taz. Actually, you know what? Let me make sure I'm getting my facts straight here. Yeah, it was against Taz, or Bam Bam Bigelow. Yep. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Taz is great, but in the ring and on commentary, and he always makes me laugh too. Just the things that he says. Oh, and by the way, one of the most underrated commentary duos ever is Taz and Michael Cole. They were great together. Just wanted to throw that out there. I feel like anytime people talk about great commentary teams, no one ever mentions them. So yeah, they're great. Sorry, that's my disc. Ted DiBiase, one of the most boring wrestlers ever. My gosh, they were trying to push him for a time, but yeah, Ted sucked. He was nothing like his dad. By the way, where is his dad? He's not even on here, unless he's brought like a Legends deal. Anyways, Tegan Knox, similar to Dakota Kai, I thought she was overrated. I never really saw anything in her. She was okay in the ring at best, but yeah. Who is this? Teo Man, no clue. Terry Runnels, I've heard the name, I've seen her face before, but I don't know too much about her. The Berserker, John Nord, I believe. I've heard the name, don't know much about him. The Brian Kendrick, who at one point was World Heavyweight Champion. That is a fact. It wasn't official, but he did hold the title for like, what was it, a couple minutes in that championship scramble match. So, yep, former world champion Brian Kendrick, kind of. But yeah, I've always loved Brian Kendrick. He is a weirdo, though. Very strange guy in real life. And he says a lot of dumb shit, which, you know, got him released by WWE and then also by AEW. Yeah, if you guys remember that whole thing. But yeah, in the ring, Brian Kendrick is great, and I will always love his tag team with Paul London, who was not on this list, by the way, which is crazy. But yeah, I love Brian Kendrick. The Brooklyn Brawler. I really don't have any opinion about Brooklyn Brawler. Oh my gosh, the Bunny. Seriously, that's who we're putting on here. But you can't put Paul London on this list. Give me a fucking break. in case you guys don't know who the bunny is, that was Adam Rose's bunny. What am I saying right now? Next up, the Hurricane. I love the Hurricane. Great gimmick. He beat The Rock, right? If I'm remembering correctly. I think he did on the episode of Raw. Or was it? Was it The Rock? Was it? It was somebody we beat. Like a big name. Yeah, I love the Hurricane. I always have. The Moondogs. I don't know. I'm guessing this is a team. I don't know who they are. The Nasty Boys. I've always heard their names, but I never seen a match of theirs. The Oddities. I have looked at these guys before, and they were definitely odd and very 90s. Public Enemy. They were a tag team in ECW, but that's about all I know of them. The Sandman. I love the Sandman, as I mentioned twice already. I grew up watching ECW on Sci-Fi, and the Sandman was also one of my guys that I instantly liked. Seeing on my screen, and his entrance was awesome. I love his entrance so much. And in my opinion, one of, if not the most badass entrances of all time happened at ECW One Night Stand. Was it 05 or 06 where he came out to Enter Sandman? Oh my gosh, incredible. Chills every time I watch it. The Warlord, I don't know too much about him. Tiffany, she was GM of ECW. That's about all I can remember of her. Tiger Mask wrestled for WWE, really? Let me look this up. I never knew this. Did he really? Okay, this might be a bit hard to look at because there's been so many Tiger Mask people. Oh my gosh, there's 1, 2, 3. There's been 7 different Tiger Mask wrestlers. Okay, well. Oh, here we go. Actually, I'm not even. I'm reading out Wikipedia and it's already confusing me. Yeah, I guess so. I guess he was part of WWE. On Wikipedia, saying that Ultimo Dragon portrayed Tiger Mask. That can't be true, can it? What the fuck? When was this? Anyways, let's move on. Timothy Thatcher. He was alright. That was around the time when I was kind of like falling out of NXT. Because I was really watching AEW at that time and not much NXT. So, yeah, he seemed like a good wrestler, but yeah. Oh wow, Tino Sabbatelli. I remember this guy. He sucked. He was not good. Who did he get married to or date? Was it Mandy Rose? I think him and Mandy Rose are married, actually. Yeah. Anyways, DJP. I've always liked DJP. He's never been one of my favorites. I thought his work in New Japan was really good. His run in WWE started off good. He was definitely the wrong winner of the Cruiserweight Classic. I thought it should have been Zack Sabre Jr., Kota Ibushi, or Gran Metalik. But no, they gave it to DJP because he can speak English and got a promo. So can Zack, but I think Zack was already, or didn't want to sign with the company, so yeah. But yeah, I like DJP. Todd Grisham. I like Todd Grisham. I remember him from my childhood. Where is Todd Grisham now? I have no clue. Oh, okay. Tom Pritchard. I've heard the name. I don't know too much about him. Tommy Dreamer. I've always liked Tommy Dreamer. Once again, bring up my childhood of me watching ECW on Sci-Fi. I remember seeing Tommy Dreamer and instantly liking him. So yeah. Oh, Toni Storm. Just like Dean Ambrose, definitely the right decision for her to leave WWE. She's doing great things in AEW. as a timeless Tony Storm. And yeah, good for her. I'm glad she turned her career around. Tony Chimmel, I've always liked Tony Chimmel. I will always think of him saying the rated R superstar Edge. Yeah, he was the voice of SmackDown for me growing up. Tony Nese, underrated. But he honestly didn't really do too much to stand out. Is he still signed to AEW? I want to look this up actually. Let's see. Because I think he was paired with Mark Sterling. He is still signed. Wow. Of course he is. Tony Khan never fires anybody. Or so it seems. Next up, a Flop Adala. He should be in the F's. Why is he in the D's? But yeah, he sucks. He's actually been appearing on NXT, which I find hilarious. But yeah, he sucks. Trent Seven. I like Trent Seven. I loved his team with Tyler Bate as Mustache Mountain. They were great. But nothing really came of that. Also, is Trent Seven signed with AEW? I remember when he showed up. Maybe it was just a one-off appearance. Let's see. Where is he in TNA? Or is he a freelancer? He might be a freelancer. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, I like Trent Seven. Trey Baxter. Oh, that's oh my gosh, what's his name now? Damn it. I can't remember his name now, but yeah, I do like this guy. A lot of people hate him, like really hate him. Like he said, like people say like he's a terrible wrestler and that he has like no personality. He's actually a really great wrestler. Every time I see him, he's put on some banger matches, and he has some really his moveset is actually really good as well. So yeah, I like him. Oh my gosh, hold on. It's gonna bug me. Let me look up his name. What is his name now? Blake Christian. That's it, Blake Christian. Yeah, I'm a fan of Blake Christian. Gosh, that was bugging me. Next, Tucker. Tucker Knight. Gosh, I was so mad when they broke up Heavy Machinery. They were actually a good team in NXT. But of course, you know Vince. He has to break up every team that comes in from NXT, or so it seems. So, but yeah, I like Tucker. He was actually pretty good. Tyler Breeze. Oh man, takes me back to the NXT days, Black and Gold. Yeah, Tyler Breeze. Oh, I always love Tyler Breeze. I still remember his theme song too. That's great. And it still blows my mind that he had a match with the Jushin Thunder Liger at NXT TakeOver. Which show was that? Was that Brooklyn? I think it was Brooklyn. Yeah. But I was so happy when he got that spot. He really deserved it. And it's a real shame. Well, there's two things. One, he never won the NXT Championship. But then again, the NXT roster was getting stacked at that time. And number two, his main roster run, it sucked. It was so bad. Things did turn around a little bit when he teamed up with Fandango to form Breezango. And they were entertaining for a bit, but then that got stale, and then he pretty much got released after that. So, yeah, I always liked Tyler Breeze. Tyler Rex. I barely remember him. He teamed with Kurt Hawkins, and yeah, that's about it. Typhoon. I've heard the name, don't know too much about him. Tyson Kidd, underrated, man. Tyson Kidd was my guy back in the day, and his run in NXT was great, and him and Cesaro made for an awesome team. I loved them as a tag team. I would always root for them whenever I saw them, and they were so good. Yeah, man, Tyson Kidd, all around just a really good worker, very underrated. It's a shame what happened to him, and yeah. Next, Ultimo Dragon. I mentioned earlier about him apparently portraying as the Tiger Mask character, which that can't be true, is it? Anyways, I actually watched Marky D's video on Ultimo Dragon. I think it was his video, breaking down his WWE run, and it was so bad. It could have been good, but next, Umaga. Loved Umaga, man. Umaga was so damn good. Another wrestler that left us way too soon. I believe he was in his early 30s, right, when he passed away. He was, hold on. Let me see. 36. Oh my gosh. Someone else died at 36 too, that I mentioned earlier. Gosh. Bad number. Yeah, man, Umaga was great, and he has so many good matches too. Two off the top of my head, like immediately. Versus a match with John Cena, the Royal Rumble, of course, that last man standing match, fucking excellent. And then his Falls Count Anywhere match with Jeff Hardy at, oh man, where was it? The Great American No, was it? Oh no, One Night Stand. That's it. Extreme Rules. One Night Stand. Yeah. Two classic matches from my childhood right there, man. So yeah, Umaga was great. Loved Umaga. Gone way too soon. Val Venus. Val Venus. A very entertaining character. And yeah, pretty much anything after the Attitude Era, which is crap. What was his name? Chief Morley, right? That whole stupid gimmick. Yeah. Next, Vanessa Bourne. Speaking of Marky D, he made a career highlight video, really breaking down her career. Video about her, and yeah, she really wasn't that good. I do remember her from NXT. She would always like show up randomly, and I was like, oh, that's Vanessa Bourne. So yeah. Veer. Is this the guy who got that? Who everybody started that meme about, like, Veer will come, I think. Yeah. Vicky Guerrero. So annoying. She definitely was used a lot in WWE, that's for sure. My gosh, was she used a lot. You know, the stuff with Rey Mysterio and Eddie, and definitely the stuff with Edge. I remember most for that whole story with her. Well, first her, Edge and Undertaker, and then the feud between Edge and Triple H, which was really good stuff, by the way. Yeah, Vicky, I like her because she was from my childhood, but my gosh, she got really old really fast. Like on screen, that is. Next, Victoria, underrated. I always loved Victoria. She got a decent push in like the early 2000s, and I loved her matches with Trish Stratus. Those were good. And her theme song was great. It was all the things she said, right? Is that the name of it? No, wait, was it? All the things she said. Yeah, that is by Bulletproof. I forget what the name of the group is, but yeah, her theme song was awesome. And I also liked when she was a thing with Stevie Richards. I thought they were a good on-screen couple. But yeah, after that, she really didn't get used right at all, which I felt sorry for her. And then she went to TNA, and she was pretty. I think she did pretty good things there. And yeah, I always like Victoria, very underrated. Victor, I talked about him earlier when I talked about Connor, as they were part of the Ascension. So yeah, I like Victor. Virgil, rest in peace. Man, a lot of deceased wrestlers on this list. Very depressing. But yeah, Virgil. His his love for Olive Garden. And fuck money. Yeah. Ooh, Vladimir Kozlov. Yeah, Vladimir Kozlov never was the best wrestler. I get why Vince McMahon pushed him, because he had the look. I think it came out like Vladimir was never from Russia to begin with. I forgot where he was from. Let me look it up real quick. He was from... oh my gosh. He was from the Ukraine. Oh, that's ironic. So, yeah, he was never Russian. He was Ukrainian. Yeah. Alright. Awkward. But yeah, Kozlov, he sucked. So bad. And I can't believe he beat The Undertaker. I still remember that. And that awful, awful match that he had with Triple H at, was it Survivor Series, I think? Yeah, because I think that was the match where Edge came out and then beat both of them. A shit show. Von Wagner. Come Tuesday. Yeah, Von Wagner sucked. Wesley Blake. As I mentioned earlier, I like the team of Blake and Murphy in NXT, but besides that, I don't really care for them. What was his group name in NXT with those other guys, Jackson Riker and Zeke Weller, I believe. The Forgotten Sons. Yeah, I remember them. Next, Wild Boar. It's a scary dude right there. I don't know who this is at all. I thought it was Wolfgang for a second, but he doesn't have tattoos. So yeah, let's move on to Wolfgang. I remember Wolfgang. He was part of that NXT UK tournament, or whatever it was called, and he impressed me the most. Or one of the guys who impressed me the most. And yeah, I thought he was good. I thought WWE could have used him outside of NXT UK, but they never did. X-Pac. I liked X-Pac. He was good in the ring. And yeah, and also he seems like a very cool dude outside of the ring. I always love going back and watching his interview with, my gosh, what's his name? I'm filming this, pretty late at night, so that's why I'm like, my mind isn't working right now. Sean Oliver, yeah, from my K-Vape commentaries. I loved his interview with him. If you guys haven't check that out, look it up. It's hilarious. Zaya Brookside, I remember from NXT UK, but that's about it. Zaya Lee, I thought she was good, but she kind of hit her ceiling like right away. I never saw her as like a champion or anything like that, but she was good. Zion Quinn, he has a cool look but a terrible name. Yoshi Tatsu. I have a friend who absolutely hates Yoshi Tatsu, like he has some deep hatred for him. But that was my stomach. But for me, I liked Yoshi Tatsu, but at first, like when I first saw him, I was like, oh, this is cool. As a Japanese guy, he's probably really good. And then when I saw him wrestle, he was not that good. His theme song is catchy. My friend thinks it's the worst song in the world, but I thought it was catchy, so yeah. Yeah, Yoshitatsu. Yulisa Leon, don't know. Zack Ryder, Mr. Woo Woo Woo. I like Zack Ryder. I pretty much always did. I remember being a big fan of his YouTube channel, See Long Island Story. Long Island True Story. Yeah. Yeah. It was really irritating being a Zack Ryder fan. During like anytime he was like getting a push, it would be like taken away from him. You know, like the whole feud with like John Cena and Kane, or when he won the IC title at Mania, then he lost it the next night on Raw to The Miz. It's like, oh my gosh, kill me now. Yeah, I was like Zack Ryder. Now I don't really care too much for him. I just lost interest in him, but yeah, I liked him in WWE. Subculture. I like Subculture. I really liked him when he managed the Real Americans. I never understood why he managed Alberto Del Dipshit. That was so random, and I believe he only managed him for like a month, right? Or like only when he made his return. It was some weird thing, a very odd angle that they shot. Yeah. Anyways, last but not least, we have Zeus, aka what's his name? Tiny T, I believe. Tiny T Lester, I think. Yeah, I don't really know him as Zeus all that well. I know he was the character from No Holds Barred, which I have not seen yet, and he did wrestle in the WWF for a little bit, or maybe it was a one-time appearance. I don't know. Yeah, Tiny T Lester, who also passed away 5 years ago in 2020. Wow, that's sad. And of course, I know him best from Friday. Hilarious. But yeah, rest in peace as well. My gosh, so many wrestlers who passed away on this list. Very sad. But yeah, that will finally do it for my, what do you call it, like of me analyzing, reviewing the WWE Alumni roster. A lot of names that, a lot of what if scenarios for a lot of these guys and girls. But yeah, super long video. But this was fun to make. And also, I do apologize for releasing this video so late. I've been meaning to record it and release it for these, like, I was going to do it like last week, but I got like sidetracked with other things. But I've finally got it out, and I will get it out to you guys as soon as I'm done recording. So, yeah, that will do it for this video. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what roster you want me to review next. I'm down to review, well, actually, I'm only going to review rosters where I know most of the wrestlers, so I'm down to do WWE's main roster, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I can try and do Noah. I don't really know too many Noah wrestlers. I know some, but let's see, are there any other promotions? Ring of Honor, if that's even still a thing. But yeah, or NXT, you know, like side rosters. I could do that too. So yeah, just let me know what other rosters you guys want me to talk about, and I will make a video on them. But yeah, with all that being said, this has been the ASMR Fanatic signing